All right, everybody. Welcome to Ivan Oberon's Success Call. It used to be Bird Dog to Success, but we're changing it tonight and probably going forward into principles of entrepreneurial success. We're going to be discussing different things tonight, just topics, specifically the power of positive focus and how you can use it in your lives and why it is one of the most important qualities and habits that you can develop. It is Thursday, May 15th, and we're going to go for about 40 minutes tonight. I do have, because it is towards the end of the school year, every Thursday, almost 2 times a week at least. It seems like I have something in my daughter's school. So tonight is the science fair, and also my 7-year-old is doing a little singing performance again to kick it all off, and that's going to be in less than an hour. So got to be there for that. So we'll go through this fairly quickly, and I hope that it will provide you guys with lots of value. I know as I've studied some of these principles and applied them in my life, and continue to work to apply them in my life, they have added a significant amount of value to the things that I do. So here I am. I am Ivan Oberon. I'm the co-founder of Coast to Coast RIA and Investing Coast to Coast with Pete Asmus and Ivan Oberon, and a bunch of different fun things that we get out there and do in the real estate investing community. And this is the power of positive focus. And like the slide says here, we want to encourage everybody to become allergic to average, because that is an epidemic, I think, in our society, as people are just kind of used to the average, used to earning average amounts of money, having average amounts of success, having average amount of happiness, an average amount of security at their job and at the different things that they do. And that is the kind of a killer and chronic disease that will snuff out all true success. And you got to take action. That's why I like the hashtag action kills fear. And of course, clarity is power, which we're going to kind of talk about a little bit tonight. So the first thing I want to put out there, and let me just put this out there too, is like none of the things we're going to talk about tonight are brand new concepts. Okay, they've been taught and around for thousands of years, literally. But most people just don't go out there after the information. They don't go to educate themselves. They don't spend the time and the energy and the money to expand their minds and learn from the success. I don't know what you would call them, gurus of our ages, and so they don't hear what this information is. They don't see what it is. So the first thing I want to talk about is just thoughts are causes, okay, and conditions are effects. So your thoughts, what you think about most of the time, your attitude, all contributes to the things that you attract to yourself. Okay, and your thoughts do become realities, and that's why you can be thinking about a certain thing or a certain person, or those of you who are in the 21-day challenge, writing down your goals, and the Thinking to Succeed project, who are taking writing down your goals to that whole nother level. You guys are already experiencing differences in your lives. You're already experiencing successes in your lives, in the way that you think, and in the way that your self-confidence is changing, because you're attracting those positive vibrations, those positive things into your life. And when your self-confidence is up, then you can get a lot more done, and then you develop those conditions that are around you. Okay, your conditions are around you are the effects of those thoughts, and it translates into relationships, it translates into your business, it translates into your career, your earnings, your happiness. All those different things are affected by your thoughts. So what do we want to think about? One of the things that we want to think about is, what do I want and how do I get it? Okay, again, another reason why you guys are doing the 21-day challenge, writing down your goals, is so that you can understand what those things are. Because many of us, especially the people, the vast majority of people who do not write down their goals, do not write down what they want, they don't understand what it is. They don't see a clear picture of what those things are. And so they don't have any idea how to take the first step into getting those things done. So the first thing you got to do, and again, it's nothing new. It's not a, a brand new thing that I made up, right? is think you got to think about, what do I want, and then how do I get it? Once you get that far, and we're going to start digging in a little bit deeper here in a second, okay? But you got to practice optimism and avoid pessimism. That is huge. Again, because thoughts are causes and conditions are effects. And when you are positive about things, you're going to attract positive things into your life, including people. Okay, we can't get anything done in our lives without people. We can't get anything done without the support and encouragement and resources of other people. Okay, as we add value to others, they add value to us, and we need everybody around us as much as possible. And when you're positive and you have this attitude of abundance, and even if you're having a bad day, even if you don't feel well, if you still maintain a positive attitude, you don't engage in any negativity and any gossip and any of that garbage, you're going to attract other positive people into your lives and other positive things into your lives. Now, what happens when you don't avoid pessimism? Well, those are the things that you get, because nature and the laws out there in the universe don't differentiate between people or anything else. They're completely neutral. So whatever you focus on, whatever you're thinking about, whatever, even if you say, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, that's exactly what you'll get, because that's what you're focusing on. That's what you're putting the energy into, and so of course that's what you'll get. And perfect example of that is I was talking to my stepson, and he kept telling me about how he didn't want to be like this and he didn't want to be like that and he doesn't want to be like this person. And it's just like, stop. Find somebody that you do want to be like. Find somebody that you do respect, that you do look up to, that you do want to, has the qualities that you want, and focus on that. Because if you focus on that, all the other stuff will just fall away. So when you are practicing optimism all the time, and I know many of you on this call already, most of you actually, not all of you, I know that you're human and you struggle with this, but I also know from what I know of you that you practice this already. You're already practicing optimism and encouraging others and uplifting others and giving back to others, and just being that agent for positive change in people's lives, which is awesome. Which is why I love being around you guys, why I love hearing what you guys are doing, why I love seeing the progress that you guys are making, because it's inspiring, and you're doing it for the betterment of yourself, but also for the betterment of other people. Because, and we'll talk about this a little bit later tonight, but when you make yourself better, you can help other people be better as well. So the first thing you're going to do here is you think about your goals and what you want, and talk about them most of the time. And I don't mean be like this egocentric person and everything else. It's just be focused, have clarity. That's one of the reasons why you're writing down your goals, right? You're posting them up all over the place, not only for the fact that it keeps you accountable, but it lets other people see that, and it encourages them. And it also puts that in front of you. And it's something that it becomes conversational, something that you're thinking about. I mean, you can go to the next level and put your top goals, like your key priority goals, on index cards. And I haven't gone that far yet, but I've written it down so that I will do it on index cards, so that you can carry them with you, so you can have them in different places, so you can continue to look at them and focus that energy on those things. So you think about your goals and what you want, and talk about them and think about them most of the time, because as everybody knows here, you become what you think about most of the time. So make sure it's something that's worthwhile and that it's contributing to your family and to your goals and to your future in a positive way. Now, second principle here is always look for the good in every situation. Okay, because there's always two ways to look at every situation. What happens to you, either you're going to be a victim or you're going to be a victor. You're either going to be in control or you're going to be controlled by whatever your circumstance is. So you have to always see the good. You look for the good, because there's always a blessing in every curse. And I know that every single person on this call has gone through horrible things in their lives. I know I have, and I can always look back at every single one of those things and see where the positive outcome came. Even when you're in it, you don't know, you don't see it, but you have to have that faith and that belief that something good is going to come of this. You're being refined for something. Okay, there's greatness within you, and there's greatness in store for you in the future if you persist, if you remain diligent, And if you weren't going through that trial, whatever trial it is that you were going through at the time or that you might be going through right now, if that didn't happen, you would not be ready to handle the greatness that's in store for you. So you have to go through those things. Pete and I, it's funny because we've gone through so many ups and downs in our careers and partnerships and the different things that we've worked to build, and successes and failures, and every time that we found ourselves in a valley, we always we at some point or another we always stop and we look at each other. He's like, you know what? Something amazing is around the corner. Something just that we don't even know is going to happen. I can just feel it, because look how bad this is hurting right now. Look how bad this sucks right now. Look how difficult this situation is right now. Something amazing is coming. And so you keep your dimmer switch on high. Again, and that's what's going to attract people to you. If we were just moping around and all these different things, I mean, I'm sure for those of you who've been around for a while, for uh, maybe a couple of years, um, you probably would not have ever known when I was going through a really, really hard time, when I've had some business failures and things like that. Because even though I will share those openly and be honest about those things, because I think they're important lessons that other people should hear about and should know, I don't really put that negativity out there, because it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help anybody listening to me. It doesn't help anybody looking to learn from me, or for me to be able to create a situation where I can learn from somebody else, or plug into somebody else who's successful. I mean, that negativity just doesn't help. So when you keep your dimmer switch on high, and it just attracts other people. Just think of it as a moth to a flame, right? A light, and that's what you'll do. So number three, I already kind of went into it a little bit. Just seek the valuable lesson in every problem or situation, yeah, because there is always one or two or three in those situations. Number four, feed your mind with positive information. And I know you guys, man, again, you guys are championing those causes. You guys are getting up in the morning. You're writing down your goals. The other thing, if you're not doing it, wake up early enough not only to write down your goals, but to feed your mind with something motivational, inspirational, and or educational. So what I do, and I'm human, so I've missed sometimes, but what my goal always is I start off my day with my devotionals, and then I read an educational book. Right now, I'm reading a book called Instant Rapport, and finished the Magic of Thinking Big before that, and so I'll read that, and then I'll write down my goals, and then I'll basically get on with the day. Okay, so you're feeding your mind constantly with information that is positive, that is educational, that's going to uplift you, that's going to get you going in the right direction. And it's been said that the first hour of the day is the rudder of that day. So it's also been called the golden hour, right? Because it kind of sets the pace for the whole day. And I can tell a big difference in kind of the way that I feel and the way that the things get going when I'm like last minute, I'm having to rush the kids to school and this and that, and I got to get on the radio show, and I got all these different things. Then the phone starts ringing, the emails, and all this stuff, and I didn't get a chance to really start that day off right. I didn't feed my mind with something positive or educational. I didn't do those devotionals, and so they get pushed off until later on in the day. But by that point, you've already lost the ability to really have that rudder steered in the right direction for that day. Number five, develop an unrealistic expectation of success. So one of the things, a book I read called The 10X Rule, which I recommend, and I love it. It's by Grant Cardone. It's in that book, he says that there's no such thing as an unrealistic goal, only unrealistic timelines. And I love it, because I was already writing down my goals, but by the time that after I got done reading that, I was like, okay, well, looks like I'm gonna rewrite my goals now, and they're gonna be a lot bigger, and they're gonna be a lot juicier, and they're gonna be a lot more motivational, and I added another zero to my income. And man, I tell you that the first time I did that was you got to get through it. You got to get through actually believing that that's possible, right? Because you don't want to lie to yourself. You want to have full-fledged belief that those things are possible, that your goals are possible, right? But at first, it's just like, okay, well, yeah, no, I know it can happen, yeah, and I'm not gonna set an unrealistic timeline for it, but I'm just gonna set it as a goal. But after a while, then it just became, yeah, of course, I mean, why not? It's supposed to happen to me. That's what I am worth. That's what I deserve to earn. So you develop that unrealistic expectation of success, and the best way to do that, one of the things that I do also, is I have a vision board, and I subscribe to things like the Rob Report and Travel Magazine and all these different things that just show just it's a whole other way of life, of living, of travel, of different places in the world, of opulence, of all these different things. Because if there are people out there living that way, and you know that there are, and you put those things in front of you and you see them, well, now it increases that level of belief because you know that it's possible. So it's possible for you. Number six, do more. Okay, don't be the guy that just always looks for the shortcuts, or girl that always looks for the shortcuts and to do as little as possible and then just to get by. Do more. That's what successful people do. Persist longer. I'm telling you, work earlier, stay later, you know, just persist through that pain, persist through those challenges, persist through the building and the birth pangs of your business, of your entrepreneurship, of whatever it is. Even if you just all you want to do is advance in your career in the current place that you're at. Even if your aspiration isn't to quit your job, which I understand that it's not everybody's aspiration. So, but you can persist longer through those trials and through those different things to be more successful. Now, obviously, you must have clarity in who you want to be and what you want. And that's where you spend time with your goals. You spend time doing the exercises, like creating that 10-year fantasy that I gave some of you guys in the Thinking to Succeed project. You can create a 5-year fantasy, like, of what your life would be like if everything was perfect, if everything was the way that you wanted it, if all your debts were paid, if your health was what it was, if you were physically fitted like you wanted to be, all those different things. And you create this fantasy, and you have that clarity of all those things that you want, because it's possible for you. All right. Now, man, I should have started earlier. So I'm going to encourage you guys to orient yourself in the following ways. And I apologize because I'm going to kind of go through these a little bit quickly. But the first thing that you want to orient yourself around is future orientation. Okay, think about the future most of the time. Okay, spend a little bit of time in the present so that you know where you are. Don't spend any time in the past, because the past is gone. There's nothing you can do about it. You learned from it. You moved on. Spend your time in the future, okay? Because that's where you're going. You don't want to look back to where you were, and you don't want to really look at where you are, other than getting a starting point for where you're going to launch from. Spend most of your time in the future, okay? And write this down. I want you guys, after this webinar sometime, just complete this exercise. Write out 10 one-year goals. Okay, and then you're gonna, out of those 10 goals for the next 12 months, select your top most important goal from that list. Then set a deadline for it, then make a plan to accomplish it, and make it your primary chief aim. Think about it, talk about it, spend your time on it, put it on an index card, put it on sticky notes, whatever it is. Focus on that primary goal and make that your chief aim. And once you accomplish it, maybe you'll accomplish it a lot faster than you think. Go do it again. Start with the next thing. That's going to be another great exercise for you guys to do. The next level of orientation is going to be excellence orientation. Okay, commit to excellence and joining the top 10%. Now, what does that mean? The top 10% of people in whatever industry, in whatever company, wherever you are, whether it's sales or retail, or whatever it is that you do, the top 10% are the ones who earn all the money. So they got there by a certain way. They learned certain things. They connected themselves a certain way. They worked a certain way, and using certain techniques and of self-discipline. Find out who those people are and figure out what they're doing and model yourself around them. But commit to excellence. Okay, because those people didn't get there by being average and by settling for average. And you got to resolve to be the best. And one of the word tracks that I do when when I was making a lot of calls to sellers and different things, and even throughout the day, you just say to yourself, "I am the best. I am the best. I am the best. Great things are supposed to happen to me. I am the best. Resolve to be the best at whatever it is that you're doing, whatever thing that you're in right now. Resolve to be the best. Then ask yourself, what one skill, if I developed it and mastered it, would help me the most? Only you can answer that question. Again, it doesn't matter if it's real estate, various different strategies in real estate, in your current job or position, in your own company. What one skill, if you developed it and mastered it, would help you the most right now? Because we all have areas of strengths and weaknesses, right? And there's always an area that if we improve that one area, it would make the biggest impact in our income, in our success, in our careers. So figure out what that one thing is and focus on making yourself the best at that thing. Okay, because that's part of the problem. We're just too scattered. We get too many things going on. We know that we need to improve. We know that we need to do this or that. But if we focus and hone in on what is that one skill, if I developed it and mastered it, would make the biggest difference in your career, your income, or your life, and then go after it. Now, next orientation is going to be results orientation. Okay, because that's really all that it matters, right? I hear people, man, I worked so long today, so many hours, this and that, and they pat themselves on the back and just like, well, what did you actually get done? What were your results? What did you accomplish? Because I've been there, man. I worked from freaking sun up to sundown and beyond, and then I feel like, man, what in the world did I get done today? I was so busy. I was so just involved in so many different things, but what results did I actually get? Man, okay, well, it wasn't what I wanted. So we gotta we gotta change that tomorrow. We gotta focus. We gotta refocus on those things tomorrow. So think about the results most of the time, not activity, productivity. What is gonna get you what you want? What are your highest priority items? And use the 20/80 or the 80/20 scale, because 20% of the activities that you're doing are going to give you 80% of the results. Okay, there's a lot of fluff and a lot of things that we do throughout the day that aren't necessarily contributing to our results. So what is that 20%? What are those 20% key things that we can do throughout our day that are going to contribute to 80% of those results? And focus on those highest priority items. Okay, so ask yourself again, what can I do that, if done well, will make the biggest difference? Throughout the day, what are you doing? Ask yourself right now, what can I do, if I can do this better, will make the biggest difference? Always ask yourself throughout each day, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? Okay, because again, there are so many things that suck our time, that just you know make us feel like we're busy, but we're not really doing anything, right? What is the most valuable time of my use of my time right now? And think of it as in form of income, right? I actually made a little post about this earlier. And whatever you're earning right now, if you want to double that income, you got to figure out what it is that you're earning per hour. So if you want to make $50 an hour, then you got to resolve to only do things that basically pay $50 an hour. So that doesn't mean going to the water cooler. It doesn't mean that you brew the coffee for the office. It doesn't mean that you spend your time on non-monetizable activities on social media and different things. And a lot of us grow our businesses and different initiatives and everything on social media, which is great. But the majority of people on there aren't there to do that. So just don't be those people and refuse to do things that don't pay you what you want to earn and what you're worth. So you got to always ask yourself, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? Is what I'm doing right now the most valuable use of my time and paying me what I want to earn? Next orientation is going to be solution orientation or solutions orientation. And if I'm going too fast, guys, just slow me down or stop me. Um, I just you understand. So solutions orientation. So that's what we're in. Okay, in any business, that's what we're in. We're in the business of solving problems. Okay, and the bigger the problem you solve, the bigger you'll get paid. And that's why when you create a solution that is in demand for a pain in the marketplace, you will always have clientele. You'll always have uh, something to sell, some service or product, whatever it is. As long as you figure out what that problem is that you can solve, there'll always be a need for what it is that you offer. Now, if you focus on solutions rather than problems, it's another thing I love about Pete is that he's just a problem solver. He almost wants to create problems so you can solve them. That's just the way that his mind thinks, and he doesn't he's not really a procrastinator. He has to latch on to things and get them done and stuff like that. But you have to be solution oriented. People just successful people focus on the why and on the target and on those visions, on those goals, not on the how, because the how is all just the problems. How can I do this? Well, how can I do that? I don't have this, I don't have that. I'm not smart enough. I'm too smart. Whatever the issue is. When you focus on the problems, again, guess what? You'll get more problems. When you focus on solutions, that's what you get. You figure out solutions. All right. And how can you focus on solutions for a problem? One thing that I like is called mind storming. Okay. So what you do is you sit down, you write down whatever problem it is or question that you have or thing that you want to figure out. How can I solve such and such a thing? How can I get such and such a thing done? How can I whatever on top of a piece of paper and then sit there until you can come up with 20 answers, and always be aware or leery of a problem with only one solution. Okay, because they're okay. What else can I do? Okay, and what else can I do? Okay, and what else could I do? You just got to keep asking yourself that question. And if there's only one thing that comes to your mind, then it's probably something that you need to just discard altogether as an idea or as a or as a problem, because there has to be more than one solution to things. There's a progression. All right. So the next thing we're going to focus on is our growth and learning orientation. So the future belongs to the competent. All right. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to college and have a degree and have all these different things, because as we all know, the most practical education and information comes from dedicated study in a specific endeavor or field that we're focused in. It's not necessarily doesn't necessarily come from degrees and things like that, because once you get into whatever business it is that you're in and or you're that you're building, the knowledge comes from anecdotal experience and also working with people who have succeeded before you. But the future does belong to the competent, so you have to educate yourself. That's one of the reasons that you start your day off with something educational. Yeah, that's one of the reasons that leaders are readers, because all the world's information is right there in books. Okay, put together by people who are much smarter than us, who came before us, who made lifelong studies of different success principles, and it's all right there for our taking, for our consumption. And the people who fail, who don't ever accomplish anything beyond average, are the people who don't dedicate themselves to becoming more competent in whatever their chosen field is. You got to understand the fact that you must learn more in order to earn more. Okay, again, it doesn't mean that you have to go back to school specifically, but go to school in your own house. Okay, invest the money, invest the time. If you read an hour a day, that means you'll get through about a book a week. And the most successful people are reported to read 60 books or more per year. And that's on my goal list, and that's a tall order for me, man. That's a big goal. 60 books a year, a book a week. It's I mean, when I first started reading, it's just like, all right, well, I might get through this book in a couple of months, because I'll pick up 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 15 minutes there. I won't read it all. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't a goal. I didn't set it as a goal. I didn't set it as a conscious effort that I was going to make. And that's one of the key reasons that certain things don't get accomplished, because people don't write them down, and therefore they don't happen, and they don't write them down consistently and on a regular basis until they do happen. Because obviously things that you've already accomplished are no longer goals. They're things that you've already accomplished. All right. So invest 3% of your income back into yourself. So this means, again, books, study courses, audio courses, seminars, advanced training, whatever it is. And if you guys want to know, which I'm sure you do, I can tell you what the secret to millions is right now. And yeah, eventually I'm gonna go there myself. But here's the secret to millions and unlimited amounts of money. Okay, listen up. If you were to spend as much a month as the average person spends on their car, you would become a millionaire, guaranteed, no question about it. The average person in the U.S. spends a little over $500 a month on their vehicle, not including gas and insurance and stuff like that. Just on their payment just to own the car. So if you were to spend $500 to $600 a month in educational material and actually went through the material and seminars and courses and CDs and audio and video programs and all those different things, you'd be guaranteed to be a millionaire because you would be absorbing so much information, so much, granted related to your field and the different things that you're pursuing. But I think that is one secret to guaranteed millionaire status. All right, so we kind of touched on this. The next point is read 1 hour per day on subjects that will benefit you in your field. And again, if you read 1 hour per day, that'll amount to about a book per week, and that's a lot of learning, a lot of information that you'd be taking in. And most successful people read, and they're just looking for that $1 million idea in that book, that one thing that will help them along the course of what they're doing to help themselves do whatever it is that they're doing a little bit better and improve this area or that area. And those are the types of books that obviously I would recommend that you guys focus on. Now, if you're like one of those voracious readers that can read like 3 books a week, then obviously you can keep your fiction and nonfiction and all that kind of stuff in there if you want, but make sure that the bulk of it comes from educational material. All right, and again, attend seminars, listen to audio programs in your car. So that's one thing that I suggest to people and I tell people on a regular basis is you gotta cut out the music in your car. I love music too, and I listen to it, but some of us commute a lot. Some of us are in our cars a lot, and that's basically a Brian Tracy calls it a four-wheel university, because for the amount of time that you spend in your car listening to audio programs, you would get the equivalent of a college education just by listening to educational audio programs in your car instead of music. And I mean, the miracle of what that does is it just keeps you focused. It keeps you focused. One of the things that I listen to about 3 times a year in my car is How to Win Friends and Influence People. I love that audio book, and every time I listen to it, it refreshes everything in my mind, and I go and I apply the principles, immediately. It's usually when I'm going somewhere to travel or something like that, and so I'll use it on the plane or with somebody at the airport or somebody at a seminar or whatever it is, and the principles work. So that's part of just continually feeding your mind because we can't remember everything. So you gotta refresh your learning on the different things that you focus on. All right. Now the last orientation that we're going to talk about is going to be action orientation. And again, this isn't a secret to you guys. There are a bunch of action takers on this call right now, and man, again, I commend you guys. But here's a few little things that again, so use it as a refresher for some of you. So number one is develop a sense of urgency. Now, I know that I've been around people, and I've been that person myself actually, but I've been around people that just aren't in a hurry to do anything. They're not in a hurry to go anywhere. They're not in a hurry to get anything done. They're not in a, you know what I mean? They're just kind of like all lackadaisical throughout their day, and it's just frustrating sometimes, right? You've been around those people. I mean, it can just be frustrating to be like you got to develop that sense of urgency. Okay, you gotta move more. You gotta move quickly. You gotta develop that principle, and what that does is it helps you be more proactive when you have a sense of urgency of like I need to get things done, instead of reactive. And then when it those things put you back on your heels, you got to be proactive and make things happen. Again, a lot of action takers here. For those of you listening on the podcast right now, Man, I hope we've connected already because the group that's here right now is an exceptional group actually, and I love the fact that that we're all doing things together. Now, what happens when you have that sense of urgency and you become proactive is that leads you into developing the momentum principle. And for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with what that is, or maybe you're new to real estate investing, or maybe you've gotten a couple of deals done, or you've seen it applied in other aspects of your life, the, the momentum principle is amazing. The first thing, it's just like pushing a boulder up a set of stairs, right? The first thing, getting that first deal, getting that first property under contract, getting that first lender under your belt is always going to be the most difficult. But what happens is almost like a miracle. Once you get that one done, maybe it took you months to get there, but once you get that one done, all of a sudden all these other things just kind of start falling into place, because one of the things that you've been doing is you've been planting seeds all along the way. And once those things start to pop, then your confidence increases, right? And again, that ties back into like, man, there's a miracle when you're confident, when you're out there, when you're positive, and you attract those things to you. And then once that first deal pops, or you get that first contract, or you get that first paycheck, or whatever it is, man, you just get filled with this surge. Like everything that you've just done, everything that you've suffered through up until that point was worth it, right? And then that's the time to just keep going. That's not the time to let off the gas and go party for the weekend. That's the time to keep going, because then you start developing that momentum. And once momentum starts going, it's very, very difficult to stop. Once you push that boulder over that hill onto the other side, man, it's awesome. Now, another thing to remember with this action orientation is that your life only gets better when you get better. Okay. Obviously, this ties into some of the stuff that we already talked about, but that's a part of action. You have to take the action to make yourself better, to develop better, to see what your weaknesses are, to develop those things. And of course, people say, well, focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. Yes, this is true, but there are certain things, maybe even strengths, that you use in your job, in your career, in your business development, that are still areas that could use work. And again, you think back to what one thing, if I did this better, or if I could improve it, or if I could become excellent in this one thing right now, would make the biggest difference, because I'm already good at all these other things. So what area am I lacking that could really make a difference? And your life will only get better when you get better, when you start doing things differently than what you've been doing them. Because wherever you are right now is an aggregate value of every single choice and every single decision that you've made in your life up until this point. And now you may be happy with that. You may be not happy with that. Whatever it is, it can be a sour pill. I know. But as soon as you accept that and you realize that, that's when you can take power and control and decide, all right, now it's time for me to get better. Now it's time for me to start making better choices, doing better things, educating myself better, connecting myself with better people, getting rid of certain people in my life, because some of those people will not allow you to get better, right? I'm sure some of you guys know what I'm talking about. They see you getting better, and man, they just all they want to do is bring you down, because they don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be held to a higher standard. And I've known people that surround themselves with people who are in worse shape than they are, financially, emotionally, spiritually, all those different things, just so that they don't have to try harder. And that's just sad. Okay, I don't know what else to say about that, but I've seen it, and there are people like that, and I'm sure you know them. Okay, and man, I know people that have been there. Maybe one of you, some of you have been there at some point too, and you're not there anymore. And congratulations to you. Keep going. Keep going. Keep getting better. You can always get better, no matter what. Don't ever get to a point where you decide, you know what, I'm cool. I'm comfortable with this. This is about right. No, no, it's not. You can always do better. You can always improve. If not for you, for the betterment of those around you. All right. Next bullet point here on action orientation is, it does not matter where you are coming from, only where you're going. Again, focus on the future. This is a critical piece to action, because when people focus on their past failures, or their past pains, or their past fears or regrets or anything like that. It prevents them from taking action. That prevents them from going out there and doing it again because of fear. They're afraid that, whoa, what if this hurts again? Well, yeah, it's gonna hurt again. I mean, so what? Don't worry about how much it's gonna hurt. Worry about how good it's gonna feel once you get past it. How good it's gonna feel once you learn you can avoid doing that again and just get better and better and better and stronger and stronger. Focus on where you're going, where it is that you want to go. Figure that out. Start painting a picture for yourself of what that looks like. Number 6 is anything worth doing is worth doing poorly at first. And I can't tell you how true that is. And you know, a big excuse that you hear is, well, I can't do that because I don't know how to do it yet. I got to learn how to do it yet. I'm not comfortable with that yet. And it's just like, when I first started doing these calls, this wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? But I realized that I needed to get out of my comfort zone. I needed to get out there. I needed to get comfortable with putting stuff together. Like, I don't have a problem talking to people. I can talk to people as long as I have something to talk about. It's just, I have so many different things going on. It's like, well, how can I put things together that will actually add value to others, that will actually help others? And the only reason that I can do these calls, the bird dog calls that I would do, talking about real estate, talking about all the different things, is because I went out there and did it. And so if you haven't done it, you don't know it. And it's very difficult to talk about things that you don't know because you haven't done. So this goes back to the whole learning and education and experience and going out there so that you can share that information, because that's what it's all about. That's why we go through different experiences in our lives, both pain and successes, so that we can share those things with people, so that we can have empathy towards others, so that we can add value to other people's lives. That's what it's about. Why am I going to want to hold that back? All the experiences that I've had flipping houses and real estate investing and doing different types of deals, I share that with people so that they know. And am I like the expert in the industry and flip millions of houses? Of course not. But what I do know, I'm going to share. Same thing with these things. These principles are things that I know and things that I didn't know at one point. I had to go out there and I had to learn them. And these are the things that I feel are valuable and that have been valuable in my life. So I'm going to share those things with others. And my hope is that others will also find value in them and apply them to their lives and make their lives better so that they can, again, pay it forward. Right. And you just got to get out there. It's been said, you gotta fail fast and fail forward. And the only reason that you aren't where you are or where you want to be is because you haven't failed enough. Right. You gotta get away from that fear. Okay. That's what holds you back. That's what holds people back in general. It's just fear of failure. Failure itself doesn't necessarily scare people. It's the fear of failure that holds people back, because once you fail, well, now you can evaluate and see what you did wrong and see what you can do better next time, and you learn and you get better, and then you don't fail that way again. Hopefully, if you learned your lesson well. All right, let's see. I do have a comment here. If you're doing it poorly at first, at least you're doing it and learning one way not to do it next time. Absolutely. And that's what Edison said when he was asked how it felt to fail 10,000 times at inventing the light bulb. And that's one of my favorite things that's stuck with me for the longest time is he was asked for how he felt about that. And he's just like, I never failed. I successfully found 10,000 ways that did not work. And he kept going. So very true. All right. So another principle here is number 7 is you can learn anything you need to learn in order to accomplish anything you want in life. And man, once I really realized that, is that any business skill can be learned. So whether it's sales or prospecting or talking to people or communicating or writing or whatever it is, any business skill can be learned. You don't have to be born with it. Most people aren't necessarily born salespeople and speakers and stuff like that. But any business skill can be learned. So just figure out what it is that you need to learn, and then go out there and invest in yourself and learn it. You can learn anything needed to accomplish anything that you want in life. And again, that is just take that to heart and just understand that, because anytime you feel like you're being held back or whatever, just know, you know what, I can learn how to do this. I can learn something better. I can learn whatever it is that I need to learn, and go out there and seek how you can learn that thing. All right, number 8. It almost feels like beating this thing to death in a bunch of different directions, but with every obstacle or difficulty, there's a seed of better option or solution or opportunity. So again, just it just kind of goes back to what the little anecdote I gave you guys about me and Pete. Sometimes that when we've sat there in the past and kind of assessed our different difficulties and obstacles that we run into, and things that didn't work out the way that we wanted them to, and okay, well, let's do something different, and let's approach it from this angle now. Is you know each difficulty gives you the ability to create better solutions and more solutions, and that's what you have to think about. One of the things you have to think about when you're in those things is, man, how can I make this better? What is a solution, and what is going to be the opportunity that comes out of this? All right, number 9, and pretty much what I'll leave you with is that the only real obstacles standing in your way are the ones that you allow through fear, procrastination, or any other self-imposed limitation. Everything that's standing in your way is self-imposed. Okay, people, things, circumstances, money, markets, whatever, knowledge, skill base, all those different things are exterior obstacles that can all be changed and altered as long as you remove the limitations that you are inflicting or imposing on yourselves. And man, if we can all learn that and take that to heart and go out there and share that and actually live it, I think there's almost guaranteed that we can change the world, that we can change everything around us in our lives and have it spill over into the lives of others. All right, guys. Now here are my links real quick that I'll leave you with, and I'll open it up for a couple of comments. I do need to go. My wife's just like, all right, so should I go without you? No, no, no. c2cria.com, of course, youtube.com/ Ivan Oberon, facebook.com/ c2cria is our main page there. And then to get me personally, I'm at facebook.com/ Ivan Oberon. If you are not connected with me yet, please do find me, send me a friend request, send me a nice message, and you can always email me at ivan@c2cria.com. That's Ivan at c2cria.com. All right, I got one comment here. Thanks, Ivan. You're awesome, bro. Go to the gym, closing hour. And I'm just going to share this because I think it's cool. Have to get it real quick before have a great night. Yep. And that's taking action. That's being allergic to average right there, getting it done, because your health and fitness is one of the key 4 areas in your life that you have to focus on to make better, and that you have to have goals in. You have to have goals in your career, in your finances, in your family, and in your health and fitness, because all 4 of those things tie into developing and creating the success of each other one. And so you have to have that balance. So absolutely get out there, go out, work out. It's better for your body. It's better for your mind. It'll help you accomplish everything else. And again, go make something happen, guys. I'm going to go enjoy one of the last performances of the school year for my daughters. And this webinar will be up on our website for both podcast download and so that you can see any of the slides that you missed, or if you want to write anything down, you can go ahead and catch it on our website at c2cria.com under my podcast section. All right, guys, have a great night. Thank you so much for being with me, for spending this time, and go get the rest of your night done. Do your journaling, those of you who are doing your journaling still, and plan out your day. Okay, make a list of things that you need to get done tomorrow, and wake up. And remember, when you wake up, just think this to yourself. Do this as a daily affirmation. Just think to yourself, wonderful things are supposed to happen to me today. Do that every single day. Make it a mantra, and you'll be amazed at what wonderful things, big and small, do happen to you throughout that day, every single day. All right, guys, once again, thanks so much for being with me, and we'll catch you on the next one, and we'll catch you online. Take care.